Hey guys, welcome back to the Cocco Channel and to another retail horror story. Today's story is going to be me as a shopper, not as a worker. If you missed last week's story, it was me as a worker, and if you missed it, I'll link it down below. Quite the tale. So this story happened two weeks ago now, last Monday, so coming up on 2 weeks. And it happened at my Ulta, which if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I don't like my Ulta, and 90% of my shopping that I do at Ulta, I do online. But there are occasions where I do go into that store because of where it is. I was in that shopping center anyway, and I actually had to return something. And so let me just set up the scene for you guys. So I was out shopping. I was having a freaking phenomenal day. I was out by myself, no husband, no baby. I was just having the best day. I had just got done shopping at Michael's, and I got some Halloween stuff for some makeup tutorials, and so I'm just in a really good mood. And I told you guys last week, when I go out shopping, I am just that person that's overly nice, and you know what I mean? I over accommodate retail workers just because I know how difficult it is because I worked retail so long. So scene set. Brittany, great mood. Super nice. Always. So I go in and I have 3 things to return. I have 2 eyeliners to return because they weren't the colors that I needed. And I didn't even end up showing them to you in the Sunday Funday haul. Remember I was telling you one was a olive green, but it was more brown. There was a purple, but it looked black. And then I ordered an Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick, and I already had that color. That's when you know you have a problem, is when you're buying stuff that you already have. But I told you guys I wanted to start collecting them because I love them so much. So all I want to do with that, all I want to do is exchange it for another color, because keep this in mind is that I used a coupon, okay? So I go in, and the first thing I do is go to the register because I wanted to return the eyeliners and explain to them that I want to exchange. We all know what that word means, right? Putting something in and taking something out, exchange. Okay. So there's not a lot of people in there. It's a Monday afternoon. It was 1 o'clock by this time in the afternoon. Not a lot of people in there on a Monday. And so I go up to the register and I explain to the girl that I'm returning these eyeliners, but I want to exchange the Anastasia, liquid lip. And I never opened it. It wasn't something that they had to you know what I mean, mark out of their inventory. They could put it back on the shelf. I never opened it, nothing. As soon as I saw the color and I opened my drawer, I was like, Brittany, you need therapy. You need retail therapy. Therapy from retail, not retail therapy for other things. Anyway, so she is looking at me because I told her, I was I used a coupon. So I had a 20% off coupon. Anastasia liquid lipsticks are $20, okay? So that means I got the liquid lipstick for $16 because I had 20% off. And so I wanted to exchange the liquid lipstick because if I just returned it, I would get $16 back. But then if I bought another one, I would be paying $20, so I'd be losing out, right? So that makes sense to me. I don't know why, but if you're working in retail, you should know what the exchange means. I feel that's basic knowledge, basic math skills. I paid $16 for one product and I want the same exact product. I don't want to pay more for it. Okay? So she literally is looking at me like I'm speaking another language, okay? And she was she's do you want to just leave this here, go pick out the liquid lipstick, and we'll figure it out when you get back? And I'm like, sure. Why not? So I can explain this all again. So I take off, and I had other things that I needed to get for Halloween makeup tutorials. And so I thought while I was there, I would go to the back to the salon and say hi to my stylist, Kelly, who I love. That's probably the only person in that store that I do like. And so she's like, hey, I'm just got done working on your friend. And I was like, my friend? It didn't even cross my mind that my friend Pam could be there because her mom was in town, and so she was like behind the row of mirrors, and so she like jumped up and I was like, oh my god, and she was like, ah, and so you know, her and I were like blah, blah, blah. And me and Kelly were talking because she was like, she told me that you're leaving and I didn't realize it was coming up this soon, I know you told me, blah, blah, blah. Like that's not even part of the story. So Pam and I were talking, me and Kelly were talking, and I went gallivanting around, did my shopping, which took about an hour, you know, because I like to take my time, and it was kind of empty in there, you know what I mean? And I was talking to Kelly about, okay, so this is where it gets, I was talking to Kelly about a curling wand because, as you guys know from last week, my Numi wand died. So she's like showing me, you know, and I was asking her like what she recommended, and of course she was like Hot Tools all the way, da da da. I was like, Brittany's on a budget, can't be doing that. And then I was asking her about dry shampoo. I was like, you know, my hair, you know what I mean? I've been coming to you for almost a year now, and like, what do you suggest? And she's like, you're not gonna believe this, but Oscar Blondie is getting kicked out of the store. Like, we just don't sell enough of him, so everything is on clearance. And so she takes me over to this section, and sure enough, Oscar Blondie, everything's on clearance. Like, they have the little tags, everything, blah. And so she's like, get this one, and it was like this big huge can for $5. And I was like, you're lying, you know, because I know it's a good brand. I've never tried it. She just had told me about it, and I was like, okay. So I put it in my little basket, you know. And so Pam had asked me, she isn't into makeup as much as I am, but she was asking me about like a couple of things, and her mom was getting her hair cut, and she was like, my mom doesn't take the time to style her hair, like what do you recommend? And I was like, why aren't you asking Kelly this? And she's like, because I understand your language, like you can explain it better to me. And so I was like showing her a few things, and you know, and so I showed her the dry shampoo after Kelly had showed it to me, and I was like, if your mom doesn't like want to style her hair, but she like puts a ton of product in it and it looks greasy is what she had told me, I was like, definitely dry shampoo. And so I showed her the same thing, and so she puts 2 in her basket, one for her and one for her mom. Okay, so let's leave that there. So I go back up front, and it's a different girl. I have to explain the situation again of, I said, excuse me, you know, I get up there, I'm like, hi, how are you? You know, so I put up all my stuff, and I say, I hold, like, I picked out another Anastasia liquid lipstick color, which you guys saw last week. I picked out Heather's. So I put that to the side, and she's like, are you not getting that one? And I was like, I am, but I'm exchanging it for that one. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, you know, I know it gets kind of confusing. In some stores, you can't do exchanges or returns on one ticket. Like, for the longest time at Joann's, like, we could do it all on one ticket, but then it was like messing up the system, and so we had to do everything separately. And so, you know, all of my retail knowledge is always in my head, and I'm always trying to make everything convenient for people working, because I just, you know what I mean? Like, I was in that lifestyle for so long, and I know how annoying it can be. You know what I mean? When people just like shove everything and they're like, I want to do this, 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 and, you know, figure it out. And so anyways, back. So she like rings up all my stuff, and I pay, and I had a coupon, obviously, which is $3.50 off, whatever. And so we get to the thing, and she just returns everything, and I was like, no, 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 no. Wait. And I was like, see how I paid $16 for the liquid lipstick? And I was like, that's why I want to exchange it, because I had a coupon. Like, I don't want to pay $20 for this when I only paid $16 for that. I already have this color. I never used it. You can literally go put it back on the shelf. I never even took the thing out. It's not contaminated, nothing. It's brand new. And she was like, what do you mean you had a coupon? And I was like, so I had a 20% off coupon, and I got to use it on that. And she was like, 20% off of $20 is not $16. And I was like, you wanna... So she like starts using her fingers, and then she like gets out a calculator. Like, you really think I'm trying to like one up on you? I'm just trying to exchange. Like, this product was already with me. I have the receipt. Like, what am I trying to pull here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I literally just want to exchange. I don't understand why this is so hard. So she like finally figures it out, and she was like, I'm just gonna give it to you. Like, she was doing me a favor, and I was like, thanks so much. You know what I mean? And so after all of that, like, I had left the store. This is where it's gonna get good, you guys. It's probably boring right now, but so I leave the store, and I go out to my car, and I'm putting everything in my trunk. and I look at my receipt. And the dry shampoo came up for like $13, which hindsight is still pretty good for a dry shampoo, especially by Oscar Blondie. But I hope I'm saying that name right. Watch, it's not even the brand. But when the ticket said $5, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you want to pay. And I'm not going to walk over $8, you know what I mean? Like an $8 difference. So me being ballsy goes back into the store. Now, I was like wrapping up the day. I had already been shopping, you know what I mean? Like, I left the house at like 10, 9, something like that. And so I had already been out for quite a few hours, and I still had to do like regular shopping. Like, I still had to go to Costco and get groceries. I still had to go to Target and get like diaper and formula, you know what I mean? Like regular stuff. And so I like put my purse in the trunk and just grabbed my wallet, the receipt, and the product. Like, I didn't take anything else. So I go back inside, and there's a little bit of a line, and I'm like, huh. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this a little bit easier. I'm going to go back there, and I'm going to, oh, I did have my phone. Son of a brr. Okay, so I did have my phone. So I go back there to where the product is, and I take a picture of the dry shampoo with the ticket under it. And it's clearly like underneath this ticket, and there's like 3 more bottles in this little section, right? And so I'm like looking at it, you know, and everything seems fine. So I go back up there, and there's just one person left, and then it was like me is next. And so she looks at me, and you can just tell she's thinking F, you know what I mean? And I don't know why, because I wasn't rude, like I wasn't, you know what I mean, like short with her. I wasn't demanding, or you know what I mean, like I explained it as nicely as I could, and I wasn't like treating her like an idiot. I didn't think, you know what I mean? It's all about, you know what I mean, perception, I guess, but I really do try, you know what I mean? Like, I can't explain that or reiterate that enough. But anyway, so I was like, hey, so on my receipt it says that this is 13 blah blah blah, and I was like, but in the back it's on clearance for 5. And I was like, I took a picture of it just because I saw you had a line. And so I show it to her. She grabs my phone out of my hand and like zooms in as far as it can go. And I was like, okay. So now I'm thinking, she's probably thinking like I really am like a shyster, because of what like she was thinking with the liquid lipstick. Like, I tried to like get something out of her for that, for the liquid lipstick, and now I'm coming back in and trying to get this dry shampoo for $8 cheaper. You know what I mean? Like, she thinks I'm one of those now. And I'm like, well, you know what? Fine. I don't care at this point. You know what I mean? And I was like, see, this is why I don't come into this Ulta. This is why. And so all of this is going through my head as she's like zooming in as far as she can go on my phone, which, by the way, every retail store that I worked at, when we had like apps and stuff like that, like, you are never ever supposed to physically hold the customer's phone for very obvious reasons. If you dropped it, or you know what I mean, if something, they can come back and claim like your employee did this and that. And I didn't even like hand it to her. I was just like, and so I took a picture. She like took it out of my hand. I was like, okay. And like zoom. Okay, so we got it, Brittany. She zoomed. Okay, so she's like, see right here, this says 1 point blah 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 ounce, and you got the 5 blah 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 ounce. And so I like took the phone and I like scrolled it up, and I was like, well, as you can see, all of the other 5 blah 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 ounce cans are standing right here. And she was like, okay. And she's like, well, it's $13. And I was like, okay, so just, it's in the wrong spot, you know what I mean? And I was like, just give me my money back. She's like, you just want to do a return? I was like, yeah, that's fine. And so she's like rummaging around. I can't remember exactly what it was like she was doing, but it was like taking her a while to like get the return ready for some reason. And so, not even to be an asshole or not even to be a jerk or anything, I called my friend Pam, because she was still in the back with her mom, right? And so I called her and I was like, hey, I was like, that dry shampoo isn't 5, just so you know, in case you wanted to maybe look at another one. I was like, it's 13, just so you know, it's in the wrong spot. And so that's what I said. And she was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay. And she's like, I'll talk to you later, blah, 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 bye. So as I'm saying this, I can't obviously talk over myself while I'm talking. So as I'm like, hey, just so you know, it's not 5, it's 13. It's just in the wrong spot. I hear, okay. So I need to draw you this diagram just so you can understand what I mean. Okay, so this little girl right here is me, and this is the registers, right? Every Ulta is different. This is why I'm doing it. And so this is the parking lot, and these are all windows, right? So I'm facing this way, looking at the parking lot, right? And behind me is a solid wall of products that is all the Ulta brand. And then behind that are these vertical aisles, and this is all of our drugstore stuff, right? Okay, so in these aisles, when I very first got there, there were 2 girls in here stocking Nick's stuff. Okay, so just understand that. So as I'm on the phone with my friend Pam, and I say, you know, hey, just so you know, the dry shampoo isn't 5, it's 13. It was in the wrong spot. I hear this girl scream from this worker from one of these aisles, yelling at me up here. Does she understand what we go through to stock this stuff? Mind you, I'm still on the phone, and I was like, Pam's like, oh, okay. And like, she can't hear me. And she's all the way in the back at the hair salon. So who knows what she hears going on, like hair dryers, whatever. And so I'm on the phone with it like this, and my eyes just go, and the girl in front of me who's ringing me out goes, and I was like, okay, Pam, I'll talk to you later. So let's just pause it right there. Number 1, you're going to scream at me from behind. Number 2, you have no idea who I am. I worked at Target, which included stocking cosmetics. Number 3, I can one-up you. I worked at Joann's where I had to freaking stock thread and buttons and all kinds of stuff. Number 4, you're not even, it's dry shampoo. It's not that hard to stock, and it's clearance. You need to make sure where your stuff goes. Okay? Zzz, little commentary on the first scream. Okay? So I was like, so I hang up the phone, and the girl is like scanning my receipt, and she scans the dry shampoo, and the girl was like, no, and the girl gets on the phone, the girl who's ringing me out, gets on the phone and overheads for a manager, and I go, no, I don't want to talk to a manager, I don't want to deal with her, I want you to return my money. And the girl goes, that's right. And then the second girl who was stocking with her was like laughing, saying, what did I tell you about self-control? And both of them are giggling, and the girl's still saying like, no, I'm sick of this. And so the girl was like, the girl who's checking me out was like, are you sure you don't want to talk to a manager? Like, I am so sorry, this, you know, are you sure you don't want to talk to a manager? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, if she's standing back there and she's yelling at me, she obviously doesn't care about her job. So what else is she gonna do? Like, is she gonna follow me out to my car? Like, no, I'm not dealing with this. I want you to return my effing money. And yes, I said the F word, which I never do. But at this point, my adrenaline was like I'm even getting goosebumps thinking about it, because my adrenaline was like rushing so bad. Like, I could hear it in my ears, you know what I mean? That this girl who works at this place is screaming at me about how she put something in the wrong place, and that I had the audacity to say something about it. And it wasn't even like I said, like, it's your fault that you put it in the wrong place, and like, how dare you, and you better give it to me for this price, blah, 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 blah. Like, I didn't say any of that. I said, oh, okay, so it's in the wrong place. Which, number 1, like, I worked in retail, like, working in retail, when you put something in the wrong spot, it is the responsibility of the store 9 times out of 10 to give it to you for that price, unless it's something like you know what I mean, like, example, like a sewing machine in like the button aisle, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you can't give a sewing machine for 89 cents, but like something like that where the clearance tags are mixed up and it's clearly stocked there. You know what I mean? Like you could see that it was stocked there. Like it should have been given to me for that price. Absolutely. Was I going to stand there and fight for it? No. No. And so like the fact that she was yelling at me, I was like, you know what I mean? Like obviously she does not care about her job. And obviously like I need to get my butt out of this store. Like give me my effing money and let me go. Like I don't understand. And of course I had used my card. So I had to put my card back into the reader because it has that stupid chip, which I wish it was never invented. I know why it was invented. It's so it decreases like your signature so people can't lock onto you and like hack your stuff. Like I understand it. But in this situation, like I wanted to rip that chip out and just tell that lady to give me my freaking $13 back. Like however else, you know what I mean? Because it was insane that this girl was like yelling at me. And the girl that was checking me out was like even like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like she was appalled too. And she was the one who, I mean, it wasn't her fault at all, but she was the one that was looking at me like I was trying to do something when I really wasn't. I treated the situation with such zero, you know what I mean, like hostility. I could have totally been like, no, you put it in the wrong place. You need to give it to me for that price. You know what I mean? Or like, how hard is it for you to understand what an exchange is? Like, and I've had people talk to me like this many a time. And I've never talked to people like this anywhere I've went. You know what I mean? So by this time, that's why I was like, I don't want to talk to your manager. I don't want to deal with her. I want my effing money. Give me back my money. And you know what I mean? So she was like, ugh. And so as soon as the thing said, you know what I mean, please, like when it beeps at you, like to remove your card, she handed me my receipt and like put the receipt on the counter for me to sit there and sign, and I literally just walked out. I'm not effing signing that. Like I just walked out and I like came home and I was like, oh my God. And I was like telling Andrew, I was like, blah, 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 blah. And then I like I think I told Alana and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this just happened. And you know how like when you're like so pumped and like, like you miss details and like the major part of the story. Like I don't even think I told Alana that I called my friend Pam and like that's what like really got that girl going, like to say something. It was ridiculous. So needless to say that an email was written to corporate and I have not received anything back. I doubt that I will because I've had other issues returning things at Ulta before. They are the worst when it comes to returns because of their return policy. Like if you order stuff online and you go in store, right, you have to have the packing slip and the email confirmation, which on my phone, like, you know how you have like your email app? Well, my email only lasts for like 15 days or something like that. You know what I mean? And Ulta takes forever for shipping. Like it's like 8 to 10 business days to get to your freaking house. It takes forever. But Ulta has the best rewards program. You get I'm platinum, so I get like 1.5 points for every dollar spent, plus I get like 5 times the points and 3 times the points. Like they have the best rewards program, but they are the worst with customer service. They are the worst with returns. And you know what I mean? Like they ask so many questions about like why you're returning stuff. That's why I love Sephora with returns. Like they don't even ask you. They're like, okay. And even the Sephora inside JCPenney's, when I return stuff, that's the only place that I really return stuff from Sephora because the actual standalone Sephora is like an hour away from me, where the Sephora inside JCPenney's is like 25 minutes. You know what I mean? They don't even say anything. And they have to like 9 times out of 10 get a manager to override it because it's over a certain amount, you know what I mean? And they don't even say anything. They don't even care. They don't even throw like an attitude, nothing. I hate Ulta. I really do. But they have the best rewards program. So when it comes to like saving money, you know what I mean? Like Ulta's the best, but oh man, I was so pissed. I will not be going back. And I'm growing out my bangs now, so I don't even have to go back to get... Sorry, Kelly. I love ya, but I'm not coming back. Ulta can suck it. Suck it. So I know the story was much longer, but it was much more crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've ever had a bad experience at Ulta, please let me know down below because this cannot only happen to me. It just can't. Or maybe you've had a bad experience at Sephora and it's like flip-flop for you. You've had really great experiences at Ulta. Let me know about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this retail nightmare horror stories. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Brittany Cocco and you are watching the Cocco Channel. If you have not entered my giveaway, make sure you go do it. I'll link the video down below so you can go see. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!